edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Équinoxe Television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Babla Jonathan. Top stories in this edition of the news: administrative authorities continue battling for an effective back to school in the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon, the two English-speaking regions hit by socio-political and security tensions for close to 4 years. Today in this newscast, we will show you administrative authorities paving the way through the grass into administrative or academic institutions in order to ensure that children are not deprived of their right to education. The 2020-2021 academic year is already underway, but in several parts of the two Anglophone regions of the country, schools have remained closed and they are still closed. Academic activities are yet to resume or may never resume in some parts of the two Anglophone regions until the Anglophone crisis is solved, and administrative authorities have continued struggling to ensure that pupils and students return to school, to ensure that children are not deprived of their right to education. We begin with a case in point in this newscast: Konye subdivision in the Meme division, southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, where we are going to show you administrative authorities paving their way through the bush in order to ensure that pupils and students resume school. Details with Immaculate Fagwe.
A divisional officer accompanied by security agents clearing the path leading to a school campus that has been abandoned for over 2 years as a result of the armed conflict. The entire classroom engulfed by grass, mold growth visible on walls, decaying benches, ceilings falling off. In some other classrooms, papers could be seen littering on the floor. The entire campus has now become a shadow of itself. A school which used to host over 200 students has now become a hunting ground. Hopes that schools may resume this academic year is far from becoming a reality. We are at Government High School Konye in the Meme Division, southwest region of Cameroon. Despite resolutions made during a council session in Kumba mandating the Konye Council and elites of the area to champion the cleaning of schools, nothing has been done.
I don't hold meetings for CCMX schools.
We held several meetings with traditional rulers, administrative authorities, and education stakeholders. During the meeting, they were advised to clean all schools in order to encourage an effective back to school. Unfortunately, nothing has been done.
But unfortunately, you don't see for yourself, nothing to take place.
The divisional officer for Konye, Atta Moses Ndep, alongside the inspector of basic education in Konye, Ojong Bisong, have engaged a door-to-door sensitization campaign on back to school. The inspector of basic education, seeing his shattered office, urges the government to relocate his office in a safer area.
Try for relocate me, look me some even 1-2 rooms where I feed the children for the like office.
Many parents in Konye say they are willing to send their children to school, but the present security crisis does not encourage an effective back to school in Konye.
Still in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, academic activities are said to be gaining steam in the OPEC city of Limbe. Coming up, Limbe-based correspondent Davidson Maimu Farsin updates on the 2020-2021 academic year in Limbe. His report.
Contrary to Monday, the 5th of October, resumption of schools for the 2020-2021 academic year that was almost marred by the traditional Monday's ghost town in the northwest and southwest region. Tuesday the 6th and Wednesday the 7th was more effective from the primary to the secondary in both the public and private schools, as pupils, students, teachers answered present, expressing joy of going back to school.
I feel excited. But if I'm just at this moment, I will just kill myself because of school. I'm happy to see my friends and I'm happy that I'm back to school again. I need to come back to learn.
For some of them, I'm a big backward because of the fact that I've stayed in the house for too long.
For me, I was not happy as I was in the house. I'm happy to be here with them.
You can see the enthusiasm in everybody to have school back.
Parents troop in their numbers, especially in public schools, to pay PTA levy and secure admission for their children.
People who are coming for admission, there's no admission ground here. Come tomorrow or next for admission.
While public schools are already crowded, private schools are yet to gather steam, saying most of their students and pupils are still at home due to financial hardship caused by the ongoing Anglophone crisis and the coronavirus pandemic.
In relation to the Anglophone crisis and the COVID-19 pandemic, even with that, we don't want any child to stay at home. That is why special dispositions have been taken.
This is where we get most of our students, but a good number of them are done for a number of years without salary, so they could not meet up, and they are only struggling away now to most government schools where they can pay just very little.
According to the principal of GBHS Limbe, internally displaced children have special consideration for admission.
Internally displaced students, we always give them pride of place. We always give them pride of place. We keep receiving their files, we study. If we can have accommodation for them, we must take them.
School administrators in Limbe are calling on a more closer relationship between parents and schools for the success of the two-shift rotational system to fight against coronavirus within the school milieu.
We are appealing to our parents that they should liaise with the school so that they can have the contacts of the senior discipline masters, the vice principals of their children's classes. That way you can follow up your children's movement. Otherwise, some can say they organize us morning shift, meanwhile they have to be afternoon shift and so on.
According to the divisional office of Limbe 1 subdivision, Acha Kwenti, who went round with the mayor of Limbe 1 to school resumption, registered a pass mark.
Your classmates who are still back and home, take the message to them. The classes have started for real, and that the earlier they join you, the better. I wish you the best.
In Limbe, social distancing in the sitting position in both the primary and secondary school is being respected. Everything being equal, the wish of the teachers, children and parents is for a hitch-free 2020-2021 academic year.
The governor of the Northwest region, Adolphe Lele-Lafrique, says that the 2020-2021 academic year is entering high gear, or better still, full gear, in the town of Bamenda. He visited some schools in the 3 subdivisions that make up Bamenda, that is Bamenda 1, 2, and 3. And his first stop was at Government Bilingual High School, Bamenda. Here he was welcomed by education stakeholders of the region and the administrative officials of the institution, led by the school principal, Governor Adolphe Lele-Lafrique, from one class to another, where he moved from one class to another, encouraging students as well as the education, the teachers and school officials to carry on with the academic activities despite the unstable socio-political and security climate of the region, ensuring them that the administration is doing everything possible to ensure that, or to make sure that they are safe and that they are secured as they carry on with the teaching and learning process. He continued to other schools in the Bamenda 2 subdivision, and of course in the Bamenda 3 subdivision, where students and pupils answered present in the schools that he visited. Now take a listen to Governor Adolphe Lele-Lafrique, a student and a pupil in this extract.
In regional level and Equinoxe and Bamenda, just have resumed thanks to the mobilization of the school children, the parents, the teachers, and the special measures taken by the security services to accompany that resumption in the region. I'm also happy that from what we have observed, teachers are observing the barrier measures prescribed by the World Health Organization and the government to fight against COVID. And we are encouraging them and announcing them that to accompany the council, to accompany the parents. The head of state has sent a special parcel of face masks that will be given to school authorities before the end of the week.
I've been in the house for about 3 years now. I resumed school last year, but due to some circumstances, I have to stay in the house. But now this year, I've got to come back to school. I'm not afraid because the way the atmosphere is just like there's a big security.
I am in class 5. I love coming to school and I love to meet my friends. I've learned math and English.
And with regards to the armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon, the United Nations Development Program and other UN agencies are training some traditional rulers and journalists here in Cameroon's economic capital, building their capacity in the exchange or the discharge of their duties, notably within the conflict zones in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, in order to ensuring that they carry on the assignments in a way as to work in the interests of the people, work for peace and not to pour oil in the fire. And we talked to some traditional rulers taking part in that training workshop of the United Nations Development Program, which is also educating the people on the reconstruction plan of the President of the Republic. The United Nations Development Program is handling the three-year recovery component of the reconstruction and development program of the President of the Republic for the northwest and the southwest regions of the country. Take a listen. We'll come back to that in our subsequent news editions. Time for us to talk something else now. We definitely talking about the situation in the northwest and in the southwest regions of the country. And now we talk about human bones trafficking and illegal activity, which is gaining grounds, especially in the west region of the country, and particularly in the known division. Some 4 individuals have been arrested in connection to that business. They are suspected to be practicing or to be involved in human bones trafficking. They were arrested here in Douala by elements of the National Gendarmerie. Immaculate Fogue reports.
Human bones from the grave to the back. These young suspects, aged 20 and 21, are said to have unburied the bones in Kwoptamo in the west region of Cameroon and transported to Douala for sale. They ended up in the hands of gendarme officers.
Officers of the Judicial Research Unit and the Anti-Robbery Brigade received intelligence on human bones trafficking. The exploitation of the information led to the arrest of 4 of the 7 suspects. They unearthed the bones and were in search of a client on Facebook.
À travers les réseaux sociaux, notamment Facebook. Faisant l'extension de nos investigations, on s'est rendu compte que les squelettes.
Investigations revealed that the bones in their possession are those of a certain Misak who died 3 years ago and was buried in Kwoptamo. The head of the Brigade for the Fight Against Organized Crime, Major Senior Warrant Officer Njiki Claude, says the suspects intended to sell the bones for at least 15 million CFA francs. Colonel Amugo, head of the Judicial Research and Fight Against Organized Crime Unit of the National Gendarmerie, is urging the population to collaborate with defense and security forces in the fight against high crime wave in the Cameroonian society.
Pamol Plantations has a new managing team. The new management officials have been commissioned into their functions, and they are Tapia Mbile, who is now the general manager of Pamol Plantations, and he is taking over from His Majesty Mekanya Okon Charles. Before his appointments to head Pamol Plantations, he was the technical director of the Cameroon Development Corporation, and he will be assisted by a deputy general manager in the person of Aso Donatus, who will be the deputy general manager of the Pamol Plantations. And these informations emerged from an extraordinary board meeting of Pamol Plantations today. Take a listen to the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Gabriel Mbairobe, and the new general manager of Pamol Plantations, and of course one of the FACO chiefs, Chief Ndike, who spoke to Davison Maimo in Limbe.
A communicator, I think that it is important for...
Sorry for that little mix up there. We're bringing to you the extract of the Minister of Agriculture of the Republic of Cameroon, Gabriel Mbairobe, and the new General Manager of Pamol Plantations. And at the tail end of that extract, one of the chiefs of the FACO division who spoke to us, Chief Ndike, reacting to the appointment of the new managing team, and of course the installation of the new general manager and deputy general manager of Pamol Plantations. It is of course one of the giant companies badly affected by the 4-year-long Anglophone crisis. The company has suffered several attacks and destruction of its properties in the course of the security tensions in the Indian division in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. And the company has been for several months now struggling to revive its activities, struggling to catch up with the destroyed properties, and also to extend the company or to expand the company. Take a listen to the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Gabriel Mbairobe, and the new General Manager of Pamol Plantations. And at the tail end of that extract, one of the FACO chiefs, Chief Ndike, they spoke to Davison Maimo in Limbe. We're going to be coming back to that extract in subsequent editions of the news. Now we're taking you out of the country. The number of people hit by seasonal flooding in East Africa has increased to more than 6 million, more than 5 million people who have been affected by flooding in the East African countries. Nearly 6 million people who have been affected this year, with 1.5 million of them forced from their homes. Parts of the region are recording the heaviest rains in a century. In 2019, a big temperature differential between the east and west sides of the Indian Ocean was blamed for heavy rainfall, and the data gathered by the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs paints a worrying picture, reports the BBC, and the number of people affected by flooding in East Africa has gone from 1.1 million in 2016 to close to 6 million today. Talking Point is up next.
While some experts believe that the
Thanks for joining us in Talking Points. We are receiving a member of Cameroon's lower house of parliament, Honorable Ngala Gerard. You're welcome.
Thank you, Babila. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for accepting to join us today to discuss some issues of national interest. You're just coming back from the northwest region of the country, where you were championing efforts for an effective back to school, notably in the Dongamantum division and more particularly in the Kambe. How is it there?
Well, thank you, Babila, for giving me this opportunity to talk to my fellow Northwestern and Southwestern Cameroonians. Yes, I just returned back from Kambe in Dongamantum, where we went to sensitize the population on the need to send their kids to school, which has been something that has been happening in Kambe, but it was high time we emphasized to make sure that nobody stays at home, and for the other communities and division to follow the example of Kambe, which have been going to school for the past 4 years. They've never been out of school, but it's as a duty for us to always go and call on them to know that those kids need to go to school, and also to let the parents know that it's a duty for them to make sure their children are educated.
All right, so as of now, it's true that you said as far as Uganda is concerned, the schools have been operational, which is relatively different from what's been happening in the rest of the 2 Anglophone regions of the country, where several schools have been shut down. But as far as this academic year is concerned, what's the situation of back to school in Kambe, in your constituency, and the rest of Dongamantum division?
Yes, Babila, that is one of the reasons I had to be in Kambe 1 week to school reopening, because we had to make sure that schools reopen all over Dongamantum, hoping that Northwest, the whole of Northwest will follow. And we had to make sure school resume in all the suburbs. That's why, if you notice, I was in all the suburbs, all the villages, ensuring that school resumed. And effectively, my effort was just to boost the morals of the parents, who were already ready for school resumption. So if you see what has happened, you will understand that the parents themselves have understood what was happening, and they were ready to send their children to school. But as an elite and their representative, I had to still go there and support them with some didactic materials, bags, and even just my presence, because sometimes you may have the money, but the presence on the field give them a different booster, because at least you are with them, you encourage them, you're on the field with them. It's not like just sitting far away and sending some people, because some people think that it's dangerous. But when you're on the field, you tell them that I'm ready to receive the bullet for you. I'm ready to fight for you. That's why I'm on the field. It's not about the money. That's why I'm on the field. It makes them to come out. That's why you saw in Kambe, people will come out, more than 10,000 people to receive me.
You rightly said that some people think that it's dangerous, and I'm going to ask you now. We saw images of some women, particularly women who were clearing around some schools, actually getting the place ready for back to school and so on. How did you get the fear out of their minds? How did you get the fear out of their spirits and their souls for them to be able to come out in that number to do that work?
Well, but Billy, you understand that most of those women are people have assisted one way or the other. And some of those people you see on the privilege depend on me. You rightly said they were cleaning. We were cleaning. I was cleaning with them. And when I tell them that I'm coming to clean with you, and people who feel that I depend on this person, this is my representative, and he's coming to clean with me, which means that he's ready to take the bullet, they ask themselves, why should I stay home? So let's go on the field, because he's there. That is the reason I have to be on the field. I could stay here in Douala and send tens of millions to Kambe. No, I have to go there, I have to take the risk and go to Kambe. I represent them. There is no way someone will stop me from going to Kambe. Ever since the crisis started, I've been on the field. And many people are starting to see that I took the right decision. Because even the separatists are calling for school resumption. But my question now is, at what time? Had it not been that the Kambe people respected what I said, they would have been 4 years back. But I'm proud that they are now 4 years ahead of others. They've benefited from all the advantages that the state is giving to them. Yes, they might not be all. We may have difficulties like the root access and everything, but they at least they are privileged. I'm happy that they were able to go to school. And let me tell you, so you understand, all landlords in Kambe are benefiting, which I don't think that is a good thing, because I want normalcy to return to all areas. But all landlords are benefiting because house rents have jumped from, just say a student room for 10,000 have jumped to 20,000 in Kambe because of the influx of students from other divisions. School, we are now requesting for extra classroom because the classroom that are in Kambe cannot contain the influx that is in Kambe. And there is no magic in Cambe. It's just collaboration.
With the 50 per class rule imposed by the government with regards to the coronavirus, it's going to be more
it's going to be more complicated. That's why we're trying to see if we can go through the two-shift system. If some people go in the afternoon, some in the morning, we're trying to look for different ways, because those students who have left other divisions are in Cambe, we have to make sure that they're educated.
Now, you said that when the people see you on the field with them, they are more confident, they are reassured, and you said that when they see you, they say, yeah, this is a man who is ready to take the bullet. Did they tell you that they are ready to take the bullet with you?
They don't need to tell me that. Only by coming out in their numbers. It shows that they want to tell you that before anything, we are ready to die with him. Do they need to tell me that? Just from the massive turnout, it shows that they are ready. If not, they wouldn't have come out. So do you see them coming out from the various quarters in thousands? Babila, you understand? That's the love we have for each other. So that's the effort that we have been fighting, and I think that is paying off. It's because, like I said, those who have been home for the past 4 years are regretting. And what is happening now, it is happening all because I'm happy that, because note that schools have effectively resumed in the Northwest, in most areas. The only difference with Cambe and Dongamato is that school resumed on Monday because we don't respect ghost town. We don't lock ourselves at home because of people sitting abroad. We don't. That's why school started in Cambe on Monday. But if you want to know that, you realize that school have started in the whole of all divisions have started school to a certain extent in the whole of Northwest and Southwest.
To a certain extent?
Yes, I mean, of course. It cannot just be totally 100%. We understand the context is different. But I'm telling you that the only difference with Dongamato is that we started school on Monday, because if you tell somebody in Cambe, Dongamato, there is lockdown, first of all, they don't know the word lockdown, because they've refused to lock themselves up. And don't make a mistake. We are not indifferent to the problems happening in the country. We know about the problem. We are victims of the problem. We recognize that there is a problem. But we don't believe that you can solve a problem by keeping a child at home. We don't believe that you can solve a problem by killing each other. Because, if I want to give you an example, I know the Ambazonians and the protagonists and all the people. And let me tell you an example. There is this thing they call ADF and the interim government. If you put ADF and interim government in the heart of Bamenda, plus a military officer, the ADF will want to kill the interim government first before we look at the enemy. Or the interim government want to kill. This there is evident. You have seen it. You've seen it. You've seen them killing each other. You've seen the other boys from the ADF killing the one from the interim government. More than if what they're doing with the military. That's to tell you how much they hate each other, and they are telling you they are fighting for one goal. It is not possible.
Now, you said that in Cambe, you don't respect ghost town. You don't respect lockdown. The people have refused to lock themselves in their homes. How is that happening? And you are not having any problem with those who are imposing the ghost town, the lockdown, and so on?
But the ghost towns are imposed, and those who are enforcing the ghost towns only collaborate with the population. The population of Cambe have refused to take their kids and lock themselves up. It means that they are police on their own. They are watching each other's back. It is very difficult for somebody to penetrate, because they know that what those people are doing is wrong. Because they first of all use the children as a tool to achieve what they want to achieve, and it failed. They themselves have said that it's redundant. It doesn't work. And secondly, we have ourselves that we understand how things are operating. It will be difficult for you to come and operate in Cambe, because everybody, even the Achaba boys, are police officers. I mean, I want to say they're watchkeepers. They watch each other's back. So how do you come in? It's difficult. So, I mean, and we've understood. Because people complain that there are IDPs, they've moved from here and here. Babla, I have a large home in Douala. I don't have even a single IDP. I have a big house in Cambe. I don't have even a single IDP. Because what? We've refused to engage in battles with the military. Because at the end of the day, when you cause havoc towards the military will come for revenge, and people will run to the bushes. Cambe people are happy living at home. They are not happy living in the bushes, because we've been living with the military since 1990, and we're not living in the bushes. And that's why we're living with them today.
Now, the fact that schools are operational in Cambe and other parts of the Dongamantum division and the rest of the Northwest region does not change the fact that there is insecurity. There are threats looming around. And this is why some civil society leaders and political leaders of the opposition notably think that those campaigns led by elites like you and administrative authorities are cosmetic solutions. The problem is still there.
Babila, I made mention before that we are not indifferent to the problem that is happening in Cameroon. But most people think that this has to be achieved by keeping children at home or fighting and making sure that people are living in the bushes for some international organization to see that the people in Cameroon are suffering and then hold the Cameroon government responsible. It doesn't work like that. They know what happened for those people to live in the bushes. They know that the military have been living around and they were not living in the bushes until you go and attack the military. Before the military will come, and to a certain extent, I'm not agreeing with them that they on equal force that they respond to, but they are human beings. The military want to die. Because sometimes you see people who are bait in crimes. They help the citizens to launch attacks from their homes towards the military. So don't make a mistake. We understand there is a problem. We feel the pinch of the problem, but we believe that there are ways that we can solve this problem because we are not punishing each other, which is the worst thing to do. Look at what is happening when a family member has problem with another person. The only thing we use an armor boy to kill the family member. Where are we heading to? Do you understand what is happening? If you understand, you won't be asking this question because it is worse in the Northwest.
Is that what is happening?
Yes.
Settling of scores?
Score settling is what is happening now as far as this struggle is concerned. That's what's happening. You see chiefs, those who want to attain chieftaincy titles, they use the other one to kill other people. It is what is happening. It is no more about fighting for a certain independence or whatever. And that's why I cited the example of ADF against the interim government. I showed that there are two people fighting for the same cause as they claim, but if you put the enemy and put the two in the same field, the other one want to terminate the other one first before looking at the ability of the enemy, because that is what we have been seeing. It is evident. Go and look at their videos and you will see how they are fighting each other. I ask myself, then if you achieve the independence, how will you govern? It means that the population will suffer forever.
But they say that they are fighting for the same cause and they're looking towards the same direction with the same objectives and so on. But there is an issue of security. Yes, pupils and students may be going to school, but what is the guarantee that these children, any of these days in the course of the academic year, will not be caught in the crossfire, will not be caught by stray bullet and something?
And who do you blame for that? Let me ask, who do you blame for that? You know very well that if these children are in school and there is no attempted attack from the Amber Boys, the military will never shoot. That we are very okay. When I travel from Bamenda to Rukumbo to Kambe, if the Amber Boys doesn't shoot at our vehicle, the military will travel without even shooting a single bullet until they respond to an attack from Amber. And Amber Boy will see an old mother walking here. They decide to attack the military, knowing very well that military are human beings and they will respond. And at the end of the day, that bullet might get that old woman. Then next, innocent civilian killed. And he knew exactly what he was doing. That is the problem. You need to understand what is happening. I'm not saying that the military is perfect. They are not perfect, but they are human beings. They have their own things that they are doing, which I always condemn. You understand? But I know that the Amber Boys always push them to the limit. They push them to the limit. At the same time, we always try to advise on how they should respond. But like I said, they are human beings. And it is very difficult for somebody just to stand and say, okay, let me allow myself to die. It is difficult. So what I always say is that stop the attacks on the military. Come out of the bushes, drop your weapons, and let's fix this country. It's a good country. We can fix it. We can never get this by fighting and killing each other, because now the Anglophones are killing each other more than what is happening between the Anglophones, the Amber Boys and the military. It is worst. Maybe you are in the world, you don't understand. I'm constantly on the field. I talk with people on the field. I understand what is happening. That's why you see I engage. And I'm always very proud that I took this decision in December 2016, advising the people of the Kambe never to stay out of school. And today, my decisions, I know that they were very right because of what is happening.
What is happening in Kambe and some other areas in the northwest and southwest regions. But when we move away from the city centers in many of the remote areas, we saw in this newscast the divisional officer of Konyi in the southwest region, in the Meme division precisely, and the basic education inspector paving the way through the bush to ensure that a school is operational this year, and it is still uncertain whether that school is going to go operational for pupils and students to go back to school. When you look at all of that, do you think that many of the students and pupils who have really not been out of school for close to 4 years today will be able to catch up? Without a permanent, a long-lasting solution to the crisis?
Babila, this is a gradual process. School have People have stopped school for 4 years. You don't expect all the schools to open at the same time. But there must be an effort. Like I've told you, parents, 3/4 of the parents have not determined to send their children to school. It is not even because the government is telling them to do so. Yes, it's the duty of the government to advise the parents to do the right thing. But it is not a personal decision of those parents. So the Amber Boys cannot even stop them. Because they've seen it for themselves. They've seen the atrocities that are happening. It's difficult for the Amber Boys to now stop them. So when I look at this, when I see some those of the activists say that people should go to school, I know they're intelligent. They've already seen that these parents are not going to keep their children at home, no matter what they do. So they now want to follow the tide. They want to follow the tide of the water. I know.
But Honorable, a parent listening to you now and thinks about how a child or his or a child may be caught up in a crossfire will find it very difficult to believe what you're saying.
The problem that I've said is that parents have seen worst created by Amber fighters. They've seen worse. So now there is not much that they've not seen that they are still going to see. That is why they are ready to send their children to school. Like I told you, the government is doing effort because they are obliged to do so. But the decision lies on the parents. That's why 3/4 of the parents in Norway are ready to send their children to school. And when they decide as such, nobody is going to stop them. That is why you see, on the field, I was there to assist them and give them materials. It was not only about telling them to go to school because they're already ready to go to school. It was about assisting them and giving them didactic materials, giving them bags so that they study in a comfortable environment. Making sure that they have good benches, good classrooms. And where the classrooms were not enough, I took note and I'm going to channel it to the government where necessary so that they can fix those problems and make sure that children study in good environments. So I am a satisfied person because I took the right decision to educate my people of Kambe and the whole of the government to that we shouldn't stay away from school, and they are 4 years ahead of others. Imagine a child who was in Form 4. I asked a child how in which class were you when this crisis started? So I was in Form 4 going to Form 5. I said, now you have been in second year university. The child almost cried. There are areas where I go like that, I stand and I cry. I look at these children whose people have made them to stay away from school for the past 4 years, and I said, but how was this possible? How could you allow yourself to be used in such a manner? So those tactics has never worked in any way in this world, and they will never work. That is why we are always proud that we took the right decision, and our children have been going to school. We now pray that other communities should follow. They should follow. Let's get our children go to school. We know that this problem is there. We know that the special status is there. Elections are coming up in December, and these things will be put in place, and we will see how the management will go ahead. Things will never be the same.
Things will never be the same, and of course we are moving towards a situation where we hope that things will never be the same again with the bloodshed and all the destruction that has been going on. But the question comes back again and again, how to get there. How to get there. You're calling the separatist fighters to come out of the bushes, but how to get to that?
Yeah, Babila, like I told you, the government is doing all she can to make sure that certain things are met that were requested. First, by putting in place the special status, and this will be known exactly. This will be known exactly after the regional elections, and then the Amber Boys, the government has created the DDR centers. The DDR centers where they can drop their weapons, come and then be reintegrated into society. It is very possible, but you cannot just think that you will fight the government and achieve a certain independence. It doesn't work like that. That is why I will tell you that today, people in Kambe are very proud of the decision they've taken.
And another decision is the stand or march against insurrection. In some few seconds, what's that all about?
No, but you know, we were just denouncing the practice of certain politicians that wanted to use the Anglophone crisis to achieve their political goals. That is why we stood up in Kambe on the 2nd of October, denouncing people who want to destroy state institutions, using the Anglophone struggle to achieve their goals. We are against that. We support the president. Kambe and Dongamatun voted 100% for President Paul Biya. That was during the 2018 presidential election, and he's a legitimate president. And we don't want again another crisis in this country to start by shooting guns left and right, by suffering people on the street. That's why we say no to this. We stand with the president. We elected the president, and we think that he should finish his mandate, and then we'll go in for another election, and then they will have different candidates, and then they will postulate and see who emerges victorious. But we cannot be trying to punish the population again because we've seen it. We cannot accept such thing that we've seen in Norway to happen again in Cameroon. Then we're finished.
Honorable Ngala Gerald, you're a member of Cameroon's lower house of parliament. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today.